Electricity disruptions are hampering the city of Johannesburg's water supply. That's according to engineering executive at CBI-electric, Dr. Andrew Dickson. Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda recently unveiled a comprehensive water security strategy. But Dr. Dickson believes that a crucial aspect is missing. He joins us live now to unpack this. Doctor, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking to us today here on eNCA. Help us understand exactly what crucial element is missing.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. So what we're actually seeing with this is it's a global problem for, based on the previous news, everyone, but particularly within our country. And we know we've had the electricity crisis. We know we've had a water or a potential water crisis. And certainly Joburg has been seen the effect of that over the last month and a half. And again, it's not only the resource that's the problem, it's how we get that resource to the consumer. And that's where electricity comes into it, because without pumps, without the ability to sanitize the water to get it to its location, we're going to have problems at the taps.
Relief in terms of course, the rolling blackouts right now. Should we see an impact as far as water supply is concerned since we've had electricity for the past few days?
So here we can separate the problems out. So understand I come from an energy background, but obviously it's part of a main service. And so we've got to look at two things. One is the ability, as I said, to pump it there. The other is the actual availability. And if we've seen some of the press releases over the last couple of weeks that, in fact, Rand Water is battling to pump the required water into the suburbs, into businesses. How are we going to do that? And then obviously, if we keep on having damage to the equipment through load shedding and the impact on the infrastructure itself, the case worsens. So it's where we've got to do what part we can with what available services we have. So obviously, energy management becomes very important. Now, we've had to deal with load shedding for quite a long time now, and we're kind of getting used to it. And though we've had a reprieve over the last 10 days, we can't stop making our lives better or more independent with respect to electricity supply so that we can ensure that water supply is maintained, because that's a much bigger problem to solve. We can't just suck water out of the air. We'd love to be able to do that, but it's not possible.
Now, as you're saying now, we must still reduce electricity consumption. That is a very, very key. And you outline a few steps on how exactly we should do it. One of it is that we should conduct regular energy audits. Talk us through that.
All right. So again, we've had the luxury of having cheap electricity. We've used it when we've wanted it. Now, of course, we're under pressure. And the first step in any system where you're trying to fix it, correct it, or change it is you need to know what you're doing. So if you don't know what you're doing, let's find that out. And that goes for everyone. That goes for consumers. That goes for big industry, factories, shopping malls. You know, shopping malls have had the advantage of roof space, so they've been able to do a lot around solar. But small industry, what are you able to do? And it's a case of going, there is not one measure that shouldn't be done, but everyone has a part to play in this. And though we've been battling it for a while, we've got to continue doing it, and we've got to get it to the point where we can support Eskom, because without them, we're in a lot more trouble. So we've got to work together.
Doctor, would it help if we as consumers also invest in energy efficient technologies?
So certainly, and energy efficiency, Eskom did a drive a while back on lighting systems, particularly changing from CFLs to LEDs. Again, that was from incandescents to CFLs and then now to LEDs. And there are many technologies around this, how we heat our homes. And obviously going into winter right now, a lot of people are looking at this going, are we going to have a cold winter? And what does that mean for my home? What does that mean for my kids? So there are options available these days. How we heat water is also there. So we need to look at saying what technologies are now available that we can implement that will make our homes more efficient, that will make our businesses more efficient.
I want to get back to the Mayor's comprehensive water security strategy in a bit, Doctor, but I just want to conclude this thought of yours. You are essentially saying to us today that if we want water, we need to save electricity.
It does come down to that. So it's not a single silver bullet. There's more to it than that, but we've got to continue managing our electricity. And I think that, to me, is the more important element. Is we've got to be able to build the economy. And in order to do that, we have to have electricity. So in order to do that, we've got to stop load shedding. Now, as sort of we've seen, is that the impact of load shedding on the infrastructure is problematic. And particularly for people like Rand Water, where you're trying to get water to people to consume it, they've got to have pumps. Those pumps are old pumps. The infrastructure that feeds those pumps with respect to electricity is old. So each time we hammer it through a blackout scenario, through load shedding, and whether it be a partial sort of takedown of supply, I don't want to talk about sort of grid collapse. I'm just saying purely as you impact little areas, you've got to watch how that feed comes through to the supply that then ultimately pumps our water. So it is something that we've got to watch our electricity. We're kind of used to it, but we've got to continue doing it.
Doctor, in conclusion, I want to circle back to this comprehensive water security strategy that was unveiled by Mayor Kabelo Gwamanda. We started off by talking about a crucial aspect that is missing, but we do need working solutions as soon as possible as residents. So I'm intrigued to know whether you perceive that there are any workable solutions contained in this strategy?
So again, I'm going to back out of that question slightly. I'm not a water person. I am an electricity person. So to me, it's more a case of we've got the strategy, or we've got an idea of a strategy. The question is how do we work with government, with departments that aid us in getting that resource to our taps. So to me, yes, we've got a strategy. It's been proposed. Is it perfect? No, I don't think anything's perfect, but it's about doing. So we've got to start that. And then where we see corrections are necessary, then we need to make those hard decisions or make those corrections so that we can ensure that we have service availability.
Doctor, thank you very much once again for your time and your insight shared here today on eNCA.